I first came to the project in September of 2011. One of the things coming from the U.S. to straight over here to the QP district, I was concerned about engineers and the quality and staff and all that, and it's been one of my highlights that we have very strong engineers. I'd put them up against anybody that I've ever worked with, and that has been a real blessing for everybody, that we have the people that we have are as qualified and as professional as they are. QP project is 9 towers and 1 hotel, and they range from 40 stories down to 17 stories. And there's three floors of underground parking under the whole complex, also supplied with a power substation and an energy center that give the life to all the whole complex. The thing that sets QP district apart is the project started out as a multi-office type of a complex, and then QP district bought the project, and then we've had to convert the project to an owner-occupied facility, which has been challenging and gave us a lot of different things that we had to accomplish. Like one project, one of the towers is turned out to be a wellness center that we had to use 10 floors for. So there was a lot of problems that we had to resolve, and I think we've done quite well. One of the really unique features was the facade on this project. Since we had the 10 towers going all at the same time, to coordinate the facade, which was being delivered from China, and the unique design that KEO had came up with, it required quite extensive, and the engineering and all the review had to be it was very complicated. We've got the materials delivered from China. Then we were building on every tower at the same time. It has a unique design that KEO designed on the outside of the buildings that we put in place, which was very complicated, that China had to they brought a guy from NASA over to their factory to help design and do the milling of these nodes that go on the outside. So it was very, very nice to see that it turned out very well. One of my concerns when I came to the Middle East was the safety and making sure that the projects were safe, like I was used to a real surprise, or it was very, very good to find out that our project, the QP district, is the safest project that I've ever built anywhere. And the safety people and the team that we develop and the coordination with the contractors and everybody that comes on the job, everybody knows exactly that it's a safe job, and it truly is.
Safety services at QP District follow the KEO standards across all of our projects. So we have a role of enforcing standards on site. We have a role of supervising the contractor on site as well to make sure they work safely. And we also have a role with mentoring and developing the safety team, both within KEO and also within the contractor. Through the mentoring, we can try and ensure at a greater level that people understand how they can help us provide a safe working site, how they can develop themselves, and how we can ensure that we don't have any fatalities or serious incidents. Within QP District itself, last year they ran several initiatives to improve things on site. These included PPE review, so now every worker on site has to wear gloves and glasses when they're undertaking a task. There was a review on working at height, and we also had a review on drinking bottles on site, which were standard water bottles, 7-Up bottles, Coca-Cola bottles, that were being used for both drinking water and chemical use. So we reduced that down and said water on site in dedicated flasks, and anything with a chemical use has to be within a dedicated chemical container. 100 million man-hours were passed on the project on the 9th of February this year, which is a huge number of man-hours for any project anywhere in the world to achieve. that number of man hours and the incidents that have occurred on site are few and far between. So the project itself can stand up against any project, certainly within Qatar and quite probably within the world in terms of its safety performance and safety achievements.
Some of the highlights were just since it's 10 towers, the complexity of putting all the 10 at the same time together, because they all were simultaneously being built. That caused us some challenges just to have the work continue. We had 18 tower cranes on the project, and they were all going, and we had lots of exclusion zones and a lot of work areas that we couldn't work. We had to supply towers and at this different times. So that's been quite a challenge to achieve. Statistically, it's pretty amazing also. We've had 172,000 submittals. We had 174,000 risk, 10,250 RFIs, and we've had over 100 million work hours, which is an amazing number. The other statistic that I think is pretty amazing is we had 519 engineering instructions that we had to take care of. Those are quite amazing.